Talking with the experts.
Hello and welcome to Talking with the Experts. My name's Rose Davidson from doesbiz.com, and today my guest is William Siebler. And William describes himself as a bit of a marketing nerd. His passion for marketing began when attending a marketing seminar featuring former Qantas CEO James Strong. William went on to study marketing, and it was there his lifelong passion for marketing took off. After a number of years in the corporate world, he quit in April 2003 and started his own marketing consulting business. Hello, William, and thank you for joining me today.
Hi, Rose. It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
So tell me a little bit more about your journey from 2003.
Yeah, okay. Well, I spent a lot of time in the corporate world, and I knew pretty early on that it wasn't the right place for me to be for the rest of my career. So in 2003, I put my hand up and took a package. I was with Telstra at the time, said, I'll go and do something else. So I started my business, and the purpose of doing that was I just wanted to work with people who were motivated to grow their business, and they were open-minded, I suppose, to some innovative marketing ideas, which is not really what happens in the corporate world. It's pretty hard to get stuff done. But dealing with business owners, they make the decision. If they embrace it, they'll do it. There's no bureaucracy. There's none of that stuff. So I started the business. I guess it was a bit of a leap of faith, like anyone who starts a business, and a lot of learning along the way. You realize that you might know your subject, but if you haven't actually run a business, it's quite different to being an employee. And I've had a lot of people tell me that that's the biggest challenge, is to go from, okay, I'm not an employee, I'm a business owner now. So you develop new skills along the way. But look, it's had challenges, but it's been rewarding, and I wouldn't change it.
So someone described you once as the human profit detector. How does this work?
Yeah, they did. And it's a funny thing. I just can't help myself. If I look at a business or I walk into a business, obviously at the moment, we don't do a lot of walking into businesses because the world's a bit shut down right now. But I look at it and I just go, okay, well, what's happening in that business to generate sales and maximize the value of their clients? And I can't help but to sort of walk in and say, hey, this cafe, why didn't they come and offer me a second cup of coffee? Or why didn't they ask me after dinner if I wanted some dessert? Or just little things like that. And I don't recall exactly where that name came from, but it's basically just because when I look at a business, I can't help but see the upside in it, or ways to grow the business. It's like a reflex, I suppose, for me now.
Yeah, so it's a bit like good and bad customer service is pretty much what you're saying.
Yeah, it is, and it's missed opportunities as well. So, it's about understanding why the client has come into the business, what their needs and desires are, and then making sure that you give them everything that they can, to get what it is that they want. Very often people are reluctant to do that, and particularly in Australia, we seem to be a little bit reluctant to sell stuff. And I say, well, you're not really selling stuff. If you're helping someone with something that they want, solve a problem or help them attain something that they desire, then you've got sort of an obligation, is the way I see it, to actually help them as much as you possibly can. It's not to pressure them. We're not putting anyone in a headlock, but if we've got something that the client can genuinely benefit from, then we should be doing everything we can to persuade them that that's going to help them.
Okay. So as far as, say, a startup business is concerned, what marketing, I guess not looking at paid marketing, but I'm looking more at the the free stuff that you can get. What would be the basic stuff that they should be looking at?
Okay, so there's a few options that they have. The number one starting point is to really understand your potential client incredibly well. People say it and it sounds simple, but the number of times I talk to a startup and they don't really understand what the wants, needs, desires, and frustrations of their potential client are in any detail. If you don't understand that, it's very difficult to create marketing that they'll respond to. So it really doesn't cost anything to create a marketing message or to create an offer of a product or service for someone. The only way you can be effective is if you really know that. So take an example. If you've got a couple, say, and they're fighting and they're having issues, and every night the husband or wife goes to bed and they're thinking about, oh gee, am I going to get divorced tomorrow? I don't want to get divorced. And you know that, and you've got a product or service that can help them. You might be a marriage counselor or something. Then you can create a powerful message, because you can say to them, look, we understand that relationship issues are difficult. No one wants to get divorced. All of a sudden, that person understands that you understand them, and that's when they're going to respond to the marketing. So that doesn't really cost you anything out of your pocket. It does cost you time, because you've got to do your research and you've got to talk to people and you've got to look at places on the internet where they might be expressing their frustrations and things like that, so you can really get to understand them. That's the starting point. And then beyond that, one of the free methods that people often overlook is the value of trying to get publicity for your business. And the ways to do that are basically, obviously, to have something that's newsworthy, or something that ties into a current issue. Or the other one that's not used all that often is to have a what's called a contrarian, a sort of an opposite position to everyone else. So, for example, if in the real estate industry, for example, the majority of houses are sold via auction. So people believe that auctions get the highest price. You might have a completely different method for selling houses that actually gets a better result and causes less stress for buyers and sellers of the property, in which case you could go out and put that story in front of the media and they may well take it up and generate some publicity, particularly at a local level. That's relatively easy to do. It's harder to get into the bigger national media, but if you're tying it into things that are going on at the time, that can really help. So that would be my number one free tip.
And CRMs, how, I know they have their place in there. Do you recommend them, or as a startup, or do you think that that's for further down the track?
So I definitely think you need to, so CRMs basically customer relationship management system. So it's, people who've inquired, your existing clients. I don't think you need anything overly complicated. Depends on the number of people you're dealing with. If you've got, say a retail shop, you might have a few hundred people coming in a day, then you probably need some technology and systems in order to stay in touch with those people. But if you're a small business and perhaps you're selling services and things like that, you might have 10, 20, 50 clients. You don't necessarily need anything fancy, but you do need to know, and you do need to have a system. If someone comes and says, hey, I think I might be interested in what you're doing, or they've signed up for something that you offer, some free thing that you may be offering, you need to capture their details and you need to remember to follow them up. If you don't have some system, and a system can be as simple as a spreadsheet when you start out, or you could simply put them in a notepad on your computer or phone when you're starting out. But over time, you definitely want to have something that's a little bit more sophisticated than that. If you don't have it, even with small numbers, you'll forget things. They'll just get lost, or you'll forget to follow someone up when you said you'd follow them up. And that person may well have wanted to give you some money and become a client. If you don't follow them up, someone else is going to get that client. So you do need at least a basic system in place, but nothing complex to start with.
Yeah, sounds yeah. I went and did the whole box and dice when I first started. I mean, I probably started back to front. I had the website done first and the business cards, and had no clients though. I know you and I've discussed over the years, or my time in business, different ways to do that. And I started back to front, and you've always offered me some really sound advice. So what, I guess, is it important to have a website? Is it important to have the business cards? Is it important to have the logo? Is all those important things for a business, especially an online business?
That's a great question. There are lots of different views about that. There are people who say websites are dead and you only need social media accounts.
That would be our friend, yeah.
Yeah, the simple answer to that question is you don't own your social media account. So Facebook decides they don't like you tomorrow, and this happens all the time. They
Yeah.
shut your account down, you've lost everything. So I think you need at least a basic website, because people who are going to do business with you expect you to have something. If you don't have it, I think that there's a loss of credibility. A lot of times they won't even really look at great detail into the website, but they just check, oh yeah, look, there's a website, it's got some content, it's a real person, there's a picture, there's a phone number, there's a few things like that, just to show that you're real. But you don't have to go and get a $10,000 website or a $20,000 website to start with, which is what a lot of people do. You can even build them yourself. You do have to know what you're doing. Your website needs to look professional, but the words that you put on there are the critical part, and what you actually offer potential clients is the next step. So, letting them know that you understand them and giving them clear instructions as to what they should do next. Business cards, I don't use them a lot these days. However, if I still go to something that's face-to-face, people will still ask for a card. I think it's still a good thing to have. Logo, no one really buys a logo when they do business with you. They're not really buying a logo. I saw one the other day. I was just trying to think what company it was. They spent $20 million or something on it, designing this logo, and it just looked like someone had been physically ill on the page.
Oh, really?
It just wasn't great. And look, there's lots of examples of that. Years ago, the Commonwealth Bank got their 2-diamond one, sort of thing in Australia, and they paid a heap of money for that. They don't make any difference to anyone. They make the business owner feel good, but the potential client is going to do business with you and the people in your business, and that's the most important thing.
Yeah, I know you've critiqued my website a lot. Well, 2 or 3 times, and there's always issues with it. Don't have the words right. I don't have enough pictures on it. I have too much in the heading, and I know you've sort of covered that quite a bit. But what are some tips that you might give to someone who builds their own website?
Okay. So generally, when I look at a website, someone needs to know straight away who you are, what you can do for me as a client, and what should I do next. So if you've got those 3 things incorporated in your page, that's a really good start. You need to make sure that what's called the above the fold section, that's the bit that you see on the first screen on your computer or the first screen on your mobile. You need to make sure that those 3 things are all on that part of what people see. Often I see, really good staff, maybe 2/3, 3/4 of the way down the website. We can't assume that people are going to scroll all the way down there. The other common mistake I see on a lot of websites is they have just this beautiful picture, at the top. Sometimes it's a slider, sometimes it's just one picture, and there's a couple of words on it, and it's all a little bit cute and clever. What I want people to do is I want them to be really clear and obvious about what you can do for me. I don't want to have to work it out. I'm not a detective as a client. I'm not going to, try and figure out what you can do for me. If you don't tell me straight away, I'll just go somewhere else. So they're the biggest mistakes. And even things like having just a clear headline, on a website, describing, what's in it for me, what's in the self-interest of me as a client, because that's what they're really interested in.
That's really sound advice. Yeah, that's really great. Now, as far as other marketing is concerned, what other kinds of marketing do you know that would benefit even a larger, a medium-sized business, perhaps?
Yep. So there are a number of areas. When I look at a business, I look at a thing called the 5 ways to grow a business model. So I'm looking at how do people get leads and traffic? What do people do to convert those leads into paying clients? What do they do to maximize the value of a purchase? What do they do to maximize repeat purchases? And what are they doing to maximize their margins in a revenue sense, not in an accounting sense? So within those 5 areas, there's a ton of opportunities. One of the biggest problems a lot of people is with the second step, which is converting the lead or the traffic into an inquiry. And that has to do with basically what you're offering that person at that point in time. So you need to understand where they're at. More often than not, people are trying to get a purchase, or they're trying to get someone to book a meeting or pick up the phone and call. And often as a first step, even if it's free, it's still just a little step too far initially. So we need to do something else in advance of that. And it's usually to offer some really helpful information where people see it and they see the title of it and it's like, gosh, I need to know what that is. So they're more than happy to exchange an email address and get you free, whatever it might be. And then as you start to build that relationship, that's when you make those other offers. So you want to make the right offer to the right person at the right time. The other opportunity in a marketing sense is to keep marketing to your existing client base. Most established businesses have a decent number of existing clients. Most of those clients will happily buy more from you or happily refer more clients to you, but you have to have marketing strategies in place to make that happen. You hear it a lot where someone says, the client says, I went and bought a website from such and such, or I went and got this service from a competitor. And the business goes, but we offer that. And it's like, yeah, but did you tell them? No, you didn't tell them, so they went somewhere else. So you have to actually continue to market to your existing clients. It's one of the biggest mistakes that businesses make.
Right. So do you believe that email marketing's dead?
No.
Yeah.
No, because there's too many people making too much money with email marketing for email marketing to be dead. It's just like newspapers aren't dead, radio's not dead, television's not dead. Everything's changing, but none of those things are dead. It depends on, the relationship that you have with your clients. Your email marketing will fail if you keep sending people pitch after pitch after pitch after pitch. But if you send out good, helpful information and content regularly, and you have occasional pitches and things built into that, then email marketing can be very, very effective. Many businesses could just generate immediate sales by coming up with a really well-written, a good copywritten email, sending it out to their existing client base with some form of offer, and they generate immediate sales. You see it happen over and over. So no, definitely not dead.
Yeah. We have a mutual friend who believes that it is, and everything should be online.
Sure.
Yeah. So that's where that sort of question came from.
Mm.
Because it doesn't get a lot of discussion in the group. So yeah, it was good to hear your perspective on that. So I know that you are offering at the moment through this pandemic a lot of free services, to help businesses, get sales and help with their marketing. What services are you actually offering people that, aren't taking away from your business? Because I know you have to make a living. So what sort of things are you offering?
Okay. So I'll always have a chat to any serious business owner, an initial conversation with them. There's no high pressure, there's no cost to have an initial conversation with me. And that's for two reasons. I need to know that they would actually be a good client for me and that I can help them. And they need to know that I'm the right person for them and can help them. So in each of those conversations, every time I have one, there'll be at least 1 to 3 things that I can make as an initial suggestion. Obviously, it's a free conversation. You don't give away the world in that, but there'll always be some insights that'll come out of that conversation. The other thing that I have been doing that I don't typically push and haven't previously pushed is just like 1 hour marketing breakthrough calls, which are paid calls, but they have 100% money back guarantee. So at the end of the call, if someone doesn't love it and believes that the call is far more valuable than the price, then I don't consider there's any need to pay. So I'm doing a few things like that. In addition to that, there's a lot of free content I share on social media. But the only problem with free content on social media is it can be the best advice in the world. My experience is if it's free, people don't often value it as much as they should.
No, they don't.
So someone could read a free article and then they could pay me for a session, give them the exact same information. They're more likely to act on the one that they're paid for.
Yeah, no, people, yeah, you're right. People don't value something that's free
No.
in the fact that, you have free events and, people book and then they don't turn up. But if they
That's
pay
exactly right. There's no commitment.
No, but if you pay $5, they'll go,
Yep. Yeah, even a small amount of money changes the relationship.
It does. So, for a small business, what growth, I mean, depending on the business, of course, what growth, how can they look for growth opportunities other than, building an email list, building a social media following, doing their website? What other strategies do you believe that there are?
So every business should have at least one referral strategy in place. So if you've got a particular client, let's say you're a builder and you engage a builder to come and do an extension or put a deck on your house or something. Odds are the person who purchased that service from the builder knows other people who are like them, who probably are going to have a need for a builder at some point. So what the builder needs to do in that instance is they need to give that client something of value that they can then pass on to other interested people as a referral strategy. And it could be just a discount or some extra value on something. It doesn't really matter what it was. It doesn't have to be a discount. It just needs to be something that the other person can pass along to their friend. That is of value. And when they pass it along to their friend, they look good in doing so. So you see it a lot, for your free consultations and things like that, passing those on. So having a referral strategy in place for every business is critical, because businesses will get referrals passively, but you'll get many more referrals if you have actual systems in place to do it. And clients are happy to do it, but you have to ask them, you have to remind them, because everyone's busy. They're not thinking about your business all day, every day like you are. They forget about it. So you have to be proactive in doing that.
All right. So is it a bit like an affiliate system, or is it just, is it different? I'm an affiliate of a few businesses, and, obviously I don't actively participate or promote the businesses that I'm an affiliate of, which is pretty bad. But so is it something like that, or is it something different?
Referrals are slightly different. The principle's similar, but an affiliate system would more be something that you would do if you were going to, say, partner with another business who deals with the same clients. So, if you were selling to businesses, for example, you might seek to partner with accounting firms, because accounting firms deal with a lot of other businesses, and you may set up some partnership arrangement with them. That could be affiliate, where they generate some commissions. Some industries have ethical issues where commissions don't work, so it depends on the industry. You may have some other arrangement. It could just be you refer to them, they refer to you. You might give them some free services. You might donate the money to charity instead of sending it to them. There's all sorts of ways that you could structure it, but that affiliate idea is more of a partnership strategy, which is a brilliant strategy for growing a business. That is to leverage other people's existing relationships with lots of potential clients. It's a great strategy, but it's different to just the straight up referral programs for clients getting more clients like themselves.
Yeah. So do you have any final words of wisdom to business owners?
Okay. Look, I think the two things that I might suggest are really understand your client deeply. Very few people actually go to that level, to the level of understanding that they guess at what a client wants. They don't know. That's really critical. The other thing I would say is that there's that wonderful phrase from The Godfather, I made him an offer he couldn't refuse. Now, in The Godfather, he was going to kill the guy if he refused the offer. We don't do that in business, obviously. But if we focus on making an offer that is just almost impossible to refuse, that alone can profoundly grow a business. You have to really think through it, and you think, what is the offer that would almost seem crazy for me to make, but clients would go, geez, how could I say no to that? I can't say no to that. And there are lots of examples of it, throughout the history of marketing. Great offers alone can build a business. So if you really understand your client, you go to the trouble to put together an irresistible offer, that can really give you some tremendous momentum for your business.
Well, that's really sound advice, actually. So I guess it comes basically down to finding your niche or your avatar, and getting some good copy.
Yep.
To get your headlines right. So whether you get a copywriter or you do a bit of training on how to write good copy, and referrals from your client from your clients, so they'll get you more clients. So that's great advice. Just especially when you're starting out.
Yes.
Anyway, thank you, William, for your time today. I've really appreciated you talking and sharing your wisdom.
It's been a pleasure, Rose. Thank you very much.
Marketing's such a hard thing for people to get their head around, I think. Unless you're that way inclined, marketing for most people is just something that they leave to the experts, because it's not an understood thing, really.
No, it's not. And then there's a lot of information out there. Unfortunately, a lot of it's wrong. So, you don't want to spend 10, 20, 30 years sorting through until you find what's right. You need to short circuit that process. But most businesses know more than they think they know. They just, don't necessarily recognize that. They need someone to kind of get the information that's there out of them and just put it into the market in a format where the market will actually respond to it.
I think they just probably need to put themselves in the shoes of their potential client and think,
Absolutely.
what would I like to happen if I were to go and buy something from XYZ company?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A great question is, if I was my client, would I actually respond to this? Would I respond to this ad? Would I respond to this website? Would I know what to do? More often than not, the answer is no. We need to do something to improve it.
I do have a question though about colour. Colour in marketing. That is, I've read a lot about that. What's your view on colours for marketing?
So there's a whole field of colour psychology. And you can find, if you just type colour psychology into Google, you'll get basic associations of colours. They have certain meanings and they're meant to stimulate things, like red is often associated with sale in Australia, stimulating emotions, love, etc. So there are different colours that people can use. All I would say is just get some basic information on colour psychology and pick the one that represents the sort of business that you're trying to represent and the audience that you're going after. So, for example, if you were going at, stuffy men over 60, you probably wouldn't use pink.
No.
So I sort of think it was a bit weird. So, you'd pick your colour to match your market. Definitely. Yeah, it's a great question.
Yeah. And where can people find you, William?
So people can obviously find me on Facebook or LinkedIn or through my website, themarketingmentor.com.
Yep.
They can pop my name into Google. I'm going to show up. Easily found.
All right. Well, thank you again for your time. And we shall talk again soon. I hope you'll come back and have another chat with me.
I'd love to do that anytime, Rose.
All right. Thanks, William. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.
Bye.